to Huddle Up with McCabe's Pub and Lounge, our weekly deep dive in high school, college, and pro football. We are coming to you from our studios in North Platte. Tanner Struckman here with you. Corey Anderson along with us. Nash, I think he was like from McCabe's, for what it's worth, was crushing concrete, something like that. He's got a manly job.
I would say that, yeah, way more manlier than what we're doing.
I
Yeah.
suppose that's probably fair.
Yeah.
But, hey, we're talking football at least, and we will recap, of course, how we did this past week and take a look at what's to come. Got a good slate of college and pro football. And high school football starting to wind down, but we're still not done yet. In fact, we're not done with our coverage, and we'll get into that in just a moment. But we want to give a shout-out to our sponsor, McCabe's Pub and Lounge. They're just down the street from us downtown. Of course, big weekend for them. They are actually doing a lot with Midwest Championship fighting. The fights are this weekend, and they are going to be the official spot for weigh-ins, which is today at 1 o'clock. They're also doing the face-offs tonight before the fights, and then they're the official after party. Actually, I believe the weigh-ins are today on Friday here, and then the fight is tomorrow. So, yeah, after party. If you want to go to the after party, it's going to be at McCabe's Pub and Lounge downtown on the Bricks. So McCabe's Pub and Lounge, of course, great spot to watch the Huskers this weekend, the Big Red play on Saturday night. So, you know, if you don't go to that, you can literally watch the game probably finish when the after party begins. It should be about done. We don't play till 8 o'clock, and we'll make our pick on that. You got Husker. This is the perfect storm weekend, as I like to call it, because you have Husker men's and women's basketball, volleyball, and football all on the same day.
Pretty much from noon to 11 or 11:30, it'll
Yeah.
be straight. There'll be one Husker event right after the other on Saturday.
And Sunday is wide open for what it's worth. So
Yeah.
we did. I don't know why we scheduled it that way, but Husker men's basketball, they're 1-0, second game on Saturday. Women's basketball, they're 1-0, second game on Saturday. Volleyball, of course, big at Minnesota. It's a ranked team on the road. There's only probably like 6, 7, 8 game matches left in the regular season. This is one of them that, maybe they could slip up. We shall see.
We thought that against Wisconsin,
Yeah.
and look what happened. At this point, I think there's a good chance of them going undefeated into the postseason.
Yeah, I would say so. It's just a matter of do they drop a set or not. But nevertheless, you can always stop by McCabe's. They've got great drink specials, great meals, kids' meals now on the menu, so you can bring your family down and enjoy a great meal with the entire family. Let's get into some football, though, shall we? Of course, Nebraska last week. Kind of disaster for the Huskers. The season that went from we could win 8, 9 games to now is are we going to finish with 6?
You call it a disaster. And yes,
correct. I would agree.
I think a lot of people, if a lot of people on the surface, you could think that way. You can go down that road. It's an opportunity for TJ Lateef, and I'm really looking forward to it. There's a lot of people clamoring for him to get a series or two in prior games when Dylan wasn't doing so hot. And he didn't get an opportunity. Well, now he's got it all to himself, basically. So this is an audition time for him. If for nothing else, I hope he's of a mind to stick around, even if Dylan comes back next year. I'd like a solid backup quarterback, but he's going to have a lot of tape on film for coaches if he's of a mind to transfer too. But as for this year's Huskers, he's a different quarterback. We know about this. He's more of a runner than a passer. Can Holgerson tailor our offense to meet the needs and put us at less risk with simple throws and then go option and maybe cross up some teams that way?
I'm excited to see what he can do. They're at UCLA. We'll make that pick in a moment. Dylan Rowell out for the year. And you're right, though. Overall, honestly, Nebraska played fairly well. I thought that the offense stalled, obviously, once Dylan went out. That was a tough spot for TJ to be put in. But the defense played pretty well overall. It was a close game. They were in it. It's not crazy to say with Dylan out there, we might win that game. But now you only got 3 games left, and you've got, none of them are going to be necessarily. There's not an easy game on the schedule since week 1 or 2, but this might be your best chance to get to 7 wins here in Pasadena.
I'm not doom and gloom, but I agree with you there on that last statement that you made. UCLA is the best opportunity for Nebraska to notch a win. Penn State, I just can't see them going winless in the conference.
Exactly.
They're going to look at Nebraska as a great opportunity for them if they don't get it done this weekend. And then Iowa's just dominated us, especially in Lincoln. Iowa plays better in Lincoln, and I just don't like that scenario for the Huskers at this point.
Iowa's kind of a matchup nightmare for this year's Huskers,
Yeah.
too. I mean, they don't throw the ball. They run the ball really well.
Yeah.
But that's down the road. We got UCLA. Let's talk some high school football, though, before we get into our picks. We'll talk more about that Nebraska game coming up because it is the third round for the 8-man ranks here, quarterfinal round for everybody. And for 8-man, you still have some teams in the West that we want to mention. I will mention Sandhills Thedford in D2. They will play at St. Mary's tonight at 5 o'clock, so they're kind of representing our immediate area here in the 8-man 2 ranks. And in D1, you've got 4 quarterfinal matchups, kind of fun. 3 Western teams in those 3 out of the 4. You've got Hemingford at Crofton, long road trip, pretty good Crofton team. Bridgeport at Sandy Creek, a long road trip. And then Dundee County Stratton hosting Plainview. Should be some fun games. Honestly, Hemingford's done better than I thought they would have done. Bridgeport is deeper than they've ever gone. DCS is taking care of business still. I still think they're a team that could make the title. So kind of rooting for those 3 right now.
Well, definitely. Anytime a Western team goes deep into the playoffs, you want to see if they can make it to Lincoln. It's kind of a rarity in this day and age that it happens, but I think DCS of the 3 has the best shot going to the finals.
Then you got 6-man and 11-man second round, but still quarterfinal rounds because it's only 16 to start. Wallace hosting Red Cloud. The 6-man still has gone to the scheduling of higher seed doesn't always host. It's if you didn't host before, you get to host as long as the other team didn't. And that comes into a play here. Wallace gets to host Red Cloud in the quarterfinal round, 6 o'clock on KX 104. You'll have the call for this one. They looked really good last week.
They did. They were on a mission last week in Hampton, and especially that second half, and they just dominated. Hope that carries over. Of course, they're without Ashton Johns, their fine running back. But Red Cloud is without, most likely without their top back. He missed last week's playoff game. Gage Ely, an All-Stater from last year, and led them in rushing this season, out with an ankle injury, it looks like. So I guess if you call that a wash with both teams' best backs on the sideline, we'll see. Red Cloud, you never know about the schedule. They're undefeated. It seems to me that their strength is defense. So this may not be a super high-scoring game coming up tonight in Wallace. I'm looking forward to it. Wallace has nothing to lose, of course. You know, they're the underdogs, or Red Dogs. Red Cloud's been ranked high all year, so they'll be favored. More of the pressure on them. Maybe Wallace can come out and slap them in the face a little bit and create a little more pressure on them.
Well, and one thing, if Wallace is able to get a win, they're going to face a team in the semis they already know, 2 of which, on the other side is SEM Southwest. They played both of them. Played them both really competitively, too. So
sure,
that's got to make them feel good if they can get by this. They've got a team that they can compete with. So, again, that'll be on KX 104 tonight, 6 o'clock. Your pregame coverage starts at
5:30.
All right, let's get into our picks. Last week, let's go through how we did. A 1-3 week for you, Corey. I'm gonna tell you this because I got fortunate. Because the line did shift to 3.5 for Texas, but when we picked, it was 2.5. Texas won by 3. So I got the win, and you guys got the loss in that one. So that was pretty fortunate for me. You guys got USC right and looked pretty good in that. Cincinnati got rolled by Utah. Utah looked legit in that one. And then, Buffalo able to knock off Kansas City there in that big matchup in the AFC West. So I went 2-2. Nash went 3-1. He is now 22-17. I am 20-19 and sitting right at 500, and you're 15-24. So we go into now week 11 for Huddle Up picks here. Let's start. Now, Nash isn't here today, but we've got his picks already in the books. We got BYU at Texas Tech. This is an interesting matchup. Texas Tech, a team that they're favored by 10 points. I'll just turn it over to you. What say you? BYU number 7, Texas Tech number 8.
You know, to be honest, I haven't seen either one of these teams, so I'm looking at rankings and saying now BYU's the road team in this, but they're ranked a notch above Texas Tech. But why is Texas Tech ranked by 10? 10-point favorites?
Yeah,
I don't get that. I'll take BYU to beat this spread. They may not win, but I think they'll beat that spread.
Nash, he chose Texas Tech. I'm going Texas Tech. The only reason I think that spread is so high, if you look at their schedules, BYU has really not played they've had a lot of close games, tons of games within 10 points or so. Texas Tech has played one game within 3 scores. It was a loss to Arizona State, but everybody else they have pretty much handled. I think that's probably why they have such a big spread. I'm guessing being out west Texas, maybe there's an edge there to be. Nobody else wants to go out there, so you get an edge when you go play there. So I'm picking Texas Tech to cover. It's a big spread though against the 7th ranked team in the country. That might be one of the bigger spreads against the top 10 team you're going to find. Let's move on to a good matchup in the Big Ten. Oregon 6-point favorites on the road to Iowa. Iowa just continues to churn along wins. They look good. They are not going to win any style points. This is a parallel opposite programs right now. Oregon, flashy style points galore. Iowa just grinded out, play big boy football in the trenches. Their quarterback still never looks like a real throwing threat at all, but they don't need to. Can they keep this one closer? 6-point dogs at home against Oregon.
Well, I think Iowa's going to beat them, and you call it an upset or whatever. I think they were late in getting recognition. I don't care what Iowa runs; they're well coached, and their offense is just a lot better this year. And I don't care whether the quarterback runs or throws; they're putting more points on the board. Their defense has always been solid, pretty much ever since Kirk Ferentz has been there. And Oregon, they're solid, but I'm just not sure. That's a tough atmosphere to play
Sure.
in Kinnick Stadium over there in Iowa City. I just don't think Oregon's going to cover the spread. They may eke one out, but I don't think they'll cover the spread.
Nash choosing the Ducks at Iowa, and I am too. The only reason why I think this is a huge game for Oregon. They're ranked number 9 right now.
For the CFP, yeah.
They lose this, they're out right now.
Yeah.
If it was seeded after this game and a loss, they're out of the college football playoffs. So it's a monster game for them. I think they're going to be – and I'm not saying Iowa's defense is phenomenal. This will be their toughest test, no doubt. Oregon's got a flashy offense, and it's a tough offense to prepare for. But I think that there's only so long I think you can count on just running the ball. I think you got to throw at some point. And they've really – again – you look at their quarterbacks, Gronowski's stats, there's not much there. Do they get to the point where they have to throw in a game? Are they going to be able to? That's my question. I don't know that Oregon rolls away with this one, but I say they win by maybe a touchdown or maybe 10 points to cover that spread. So I'm going with Oregon. All right, Nebraska, UCLA. This is a late game for us. 8 o'clock, we'll have coverage on KODY at 4, KX104 at 7:15. Out west, first start for TJ Lateef. They've had a week to prepare for his offense. I don't know how much it changes. You probably lean a lot on Emmett Johnson still, maybe even more now. But you put a different element out there. UCLA's got to prepare for something that they weren't planned on preparing for. Can Nebraska, they're 1.5-point dogs on the road in California.
I think this will be a high-scoring game, and I really think UCLA is going to have problems with TJ Lateef. I think they get him running a little bit, an option. UCLA, not a lot of teams run it anymore, and I think they'll have problems stopping us, and I think we'll have problems stopping UCLA. And so it's just a question of who can maybe force some field goal attempts compared to touchdowns on that. But, again, I'm in this mode of thinking that until the Huskers prove it to me, I'm going to pick UCLA, and I hate to do that. I don't like picking against the Huskers. I love the Huskers. Dyed and Wool grew up in Lincoln, going to games, calling games in college, and going to games through the years. But they're going to have to prove it to me that they can win a close game. The mental mindset, we'll probably know pretty early in this one how Nebraska is bouncing back from losing their leader from last week.
Yeah, that'd be the thing. Yeah, I don't know how well TJ Lateef can throw the ball at this point. I don't know how comfortable he is. He obviously has thrown the ball well in backup times, but that's a whole different ball game. It's not an intimidating atmosphere. It's not an intimidating team by any means. I think Nebraska will be able to run the ball really well in this game.
Should be, yeah.
But do they have a lead to where they don't have to rely on the throw? Or is it going to come down to, it's a one-score game at the end of the game. Can TJ Lateef go down and score? I don't know that he can. So it kind of comes down to whether or not, yeah, you're right, field goals who's kicking field goals, who's scoring touchdowns, and who wins the turnover battle. I'm going to go with Nebraska on this. I don't think there's much to lose on this one. I think it'll be a close game, and you're probably right. It probably comes down to it. My hope is it comes down to them having to score in the end.
I'd rather have that.
Not Nebraska, and then I pick Nebraska. Nashaw, by the way, he told me there's no way I'm picking against my Huskers with a 1.5 spread, so he was going to take Nebraska as well. Final game, NFL. Give you a little bit of the pro circuit there. Eagles at Green Bay. Philadelphia at the Packers. Green Bay, 2.5-point favorites at home at Lambeau.
I think this could be very possibly the best game of the weekend. It'll wind up the evening on Monday and wrap it up. But looking at this, I went back and forth on this for quite a while, and I can make a case for the Eagles to go into Lambeau and beat them. Biggest thing to me is Green Bay needs it more.
Yeah.
In their division.
Sure.
I mean, the Eagles are pretty much a lock to win the NFC East after
You're
the Cowboys laid an egg.
Giving up on your Cowboys.
Yes, I'm giving up on my Cowboys. As far as making the playoffs anyway, I'm still going to root for them. The Green Bay laid an egg last week, let's face it.
Ooh,
I mean, how can you lose?
True.
In Carolina, I understand. Not in Lambeau. I'm sure their practices have been pretty intense this week, and they're saying we got to make up for that. I think the Eagles. I think it'll be a great game. I think it'll go pretty much down to the wire, but I think Green Bay's going to put that behind them and say we got to win this week.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
I don't know. Am I allowed to change my pick?
Okay. Go right ahead.
Okay,
I'm going to go with me.
I'm going to go with Green Bay on this because you're right. I think they did lay a really bad egg last week, and I think you're right. At home, team that needs it more, maybe more motivated to win this game. I'm going to go with Green Bay. Nash, by the way, picked the Eagles. Up until that change, if you were keeping score, Nash and I had all the same picks. Corey had the opposite. So that mixes that up just a little bit. It'll make our standings a little bit different by the end of next weekend. So that's your picks again for Huddle Up with McCabe's Pub and Lounge. Don't forget they are hosting the face-offs and the weigh-ins, and they're the after party for Midwest Championship Fighting. It's their Veterans Day salute, of course. They always try to do it around Veterans Day. And so come before and after the fights to McCabe's Pub and Lounge. You can watch the games there. Late Husker game for the Big Red, so a great place to watch and enjoy some beverages and some great food. McCabe's Pub and Lounge, our sponsor of Huddle Up with McCabe's. And don't forget, 6-man quarterfinal round. Corey's got the call tonight here on KX 104. Excited for that one. Let's see if the Wildcats can get into the semis. What do you say?
I would love it. Yeah, it's going to be a good one tonight, and I hope folks can tune in at 5:30 for our pregame. Talk to Tyson Sullivan. He's our player guest before the game, and Coach Bateman, of course, too.
Very good. That's on KX 104. Enjoy the football this weekend. This is Huddle Up with McCabe's Pub and Lounge.